Hello students, welcome you all in first chapter of class 11, that is physical world, and it's a very basic chapter. Okay, so let's begin. The chapter is physical world and we start our chapter by the word science. Means the question is what is science, and the science means to know about something. From our childhood we have so many questions in our mind. That's why it happens, when it happens, how it happens. Such type of questions are such type of questions are answered by science. Means how, when, why. Such type of questions of anything can be answered by science. Means, so basically science means to know about something. So what is science? It is an organized, in a proper way, organized, systematic and formulated knowledge. So it means we are explaining everything. We are explaining everything in a proper manner, in a formulation. It means we can use a mathematical approach also to explain anything, okay, in a proper systematic manner, in a well organized manner. Obtain through means we get this knowledge from a proper sequence, from a proper method, and that method is observation, hypothesis, experimentation. Both means we can experimentally prove the same thing as well as we can prove mathematically, and verification. For example, suppose yes, we have something. We have this pen. I have this pen in my hand. I drop this pen and it goes down. Now the question is why it happens. So we are going to the very first step. We want to answer it. So for that we use this science. And for answer it, the very first step is observation. We observe it again and again. We observe same thing with another thing also. With suppose I observe the same thing with this duster also, and we can use so many things. So the very first step is our observation. We observe a particular phenomena. Again and again, so that we can think about it, why it happens. So that we just give an logical approach that maybe due to this reason it happens. So we just want to the very first step is we are just going to observe a particular phenomena, and then the second thing is hypothesis. It means we just want to give a logical approach that maybe due to this reason it happens, maybe due to this reason. Suppose for nowadays we know very well that this pen is having a gravity force due to which it falls down. So we are just giving a logical approach that maybe there is some external force which is not visible to us. We can give this approach for this pen that maybe there is an external force which is acting on this pen, and due to which it falls down. Okay. So then we give a logical approach to this, that why it happens. And next we are going to experimentation for it. Experimentation means that we can prove the same thing mathematically as well as experimentally. Experimentally means we can prove the same thing with in our lab, or you can say we can do the same. We do the same thing in a experimental manner. That if we prove the same thing in our lab, it means our theory or our logical approach is correct, and we can do the same thing with the mathematical approach as well. It means if suppose I am saying that here the total energy is 10 joule, for example, okay, and here the total energy is 10 joule. If it is proved, it means energy remains conserved. It just convert. Here it is having potential energy, here it is having kinetic energy. So by mathematical approach we are going to prove it like this. Okay, and then if we are going to prove it, then verification, that we verified that yes it happens. We verified yes it happens, and then it becomes a scientific theory. It means we got a point. What point we got? That here this pen is having potential energy, and this potential energies get converted into kinetic energy. So how science works? Science works through the observation, and then we give a logical approach that maybe due to this reason it happens. Then we are going to prove it mathematically or experimentally, you can say. And if we are proved correctly, that if our proof is correct, then it means this theory is verified, and then it becomes a scientific theory. And what theory we got now? That potential energies get converted into kinetic energy. So this is the approach how science works. So what is science? It is an organized, systematic and formulated knowledge obtained through observation, hypothesis, experimentation, both mathematical and experimental as well, and then verification. And these processes are known as scientific method. They are known as scientific method. Science means to know about something. Okay, let me check the frame. Yeah, it's clear. So I repeat all the things again. Science means to know about something. Okay, and how what exactly we can define science means? It is an organized, systematic and formulated knowledge. Means we can completely describe our questions, completely describe our answers, that how it happens. We can prove it mathematically as well, we can prove it experimentally as well, and we can explain the things in a very systematic manner. Okay, and how science works? Through observation. First of all, we observe the things again and again, maybe on that object or maybe on another object also. Then we give a logical approach. Maybe due to this reason, means this is a theoretical approach. We are not going to prove it in this step. We are just giving a logical approach for this, and then we mathematically prove it. And if mathematically and experimentally it's proved, it's verified, it's certified, then we call that this is our scientific theory. So this is all about science, scientific methods and scientific theory. Okay, it's a very basic part, it's a very introductory part of this your non-medical science stream, okay, or medical science stream. Okay, now the next thing comes is physics. Okay, what is physics? So basically physics is a branch of science. Physics is a branch of science, okay, where basically we are studying about our natures and natural phenomena. You can say physics is a branch of science where we are studying about the nature and natural phenomena happens in our surrounding. Or you can say physics is a exact science. Yes, physics is also called exact science, and the reason is in this part of science, or in this branch of science, we can explain anything qualitatively as well as quantitatively. Means we can describe the things both quality wise and quantity wise. You can say like this, quantity means we can explain the theory part as well as mathematical part. Means how you can say that for example, the same thing, here we have an object and it just falls down. It means you can say that its potential energy get converted into kinetic energy. It's not enough. You can say here that it is having 10 joule potential energy, and here it is having 10 joule kinetic energy. So this is, if we are explaining only this much part, this is qualitatively, and this much is quantitatively, and we can explain both the things inside physics. So that's why this is known as exact science. Exact science, because here we can explain anything quantitatively as well as qualitatively. So what is physics? It is a branch of science where we are studying about nature and natural phenomena. Okay. Now, because physics is a very broad subject, so we divide it in a very in few parts. We have several parts of physics. Okay, so The first is mechanics. It can further divide in classical as well as quantum. Classical and quantum. I am just giving you an overview. I am not explaining all the branches of physics. I am just telling you that we have few branches like thermodynamics, optics, electromagnetism, okay, and so many. So basically mechanics is that branch of science where we are discussing about motion of a body, and if we are discussing about motion of those body whose size is greater than 10 raised to the power minus 6 meter, or you can say here we are discussing about macroscopic object which can be seen by the naked eye, and in quantum mechanics we are discussing about the motion of those objects which cannot be seen by the naked eye. So means you can say microscopic, or whose size is less than 10 raised to the power minus 6 meter. So mechanics is a branch of physics where we are discussing about motion of a body. Classical mechanics means macroscopic object we are dealing here. Quantum mechanics we are dealing here with microscopic objects. Thermodynamics means that branch of physics where we are discussing about the energy conversion between heat energy and mechanical energy. Basically in thermodynamics we are discussing about interconversion of heat to mechanical or mechanical to heat. For example, while we are on bicycle, we are moving from one place to another place, we are giving mechanical energy, and that mechanical energy make our body warm. It means mechanical energy is get converted into heat energy. Or heat energy, suppose you are making a cup of tea and you are giving heat energy, and that heat energy makes the tea boil and it comes up. So when the tea comes up, it means its potential energy increases. It means heat energy get converted into mechanical energy. Similarly, optics is that branch of physics where we are discussing about light and the phenomena related to light, like reflection, refraction, polarization, interference, diffraction. There are so many phenomena. Electromagnetism is that branch of physics where we are discussing about electricity and magnetism. It's a very vast branch of physics. So like this we have so many branches of physics. So I just recall all the things. Science means to know about something in a systematic manner. Okay, and then we discussed about scientific method. What is scientific method? The way science works. The very first step is observation. The next is hypothesis. Next we are going to experimentally or mathematically prove it, and then if we prove, then it becomes verified and become a scientific theory. Next we discussed about physics. It's a branch of science where we are dealing about nature and natural phenomena. We have further branches of physics that like mechanics, thermodynamics, optics and electromagnetism. Okay. Now the next is scope and excitement of physics. Okay. Next is beta scope and excitement of physics. As I told you that the physics is a very broad subject. It's a very broad subject. It can deal with classical mechanics, quantum mechanics, electromagnetism, optics, thermodynamics, relativity, nuclear physics, particle physics. There are so many further branches, astrophysics. There are so many branches. We can say it's a very broad subject. It's a very broad subject. So that's why its scope is infinite. We can study about loads of things inside this physics. So but excitement is the important part. Is we can read the things, we can study the things with a very easy manner. Why very easy manner? Because inside the physics we can develop few formulas, and that formula can be used with so many problems. Okay, we will discuss in later about unification and reductionism, then I will tell you. It means we can, it's quite easy, you can say, it is having so many branches like classical mechanics, quantum mechanics, relativity, nuclear physics, particle physics, optics, electromagnetism, okay, and there are so many others, but they all can be discussed, they all can be studied with a very few fundamental forces, like you can say with 4 fundamental forces. It means, the meaning is, we can discuss all the things, we can discuss a variety of questions with with 4 fundamental forces. That's why it's very easy to discuss, it's very easy to study. So this is the excitement of physics. Okay, next beta, physics and technology, or you can say society, they are interlinked with each other. It's a theoretical part, you can take a look from your book also, but it's not a big issue. Okay, let me just tell you one thing about that. Physics and technology. So beta, now I'm just connecting with you with the help of technology, and it is based on the formulas of physics. Nowadays, the communication system which we are using, that is the advancement of technology, and that can be developed with the formulas, with the basic rules of physics. So this is a very easy example that how physics is related with the technology and how it makes our life easy. Okay, in society it also helps. Okay, similarly you can see physics is related with maths or mathematics, or you can say bio, or or you can say it's chemistry. It is also related with all three branches. Now in physics, why it is called exact science? Because it can explain qualitatively as well as quantitatively. So quantitatively things can be explained with the help of mathematics only, so it is directly related with maths. Okay, similarly the few applications, if I am going to tell you, like X-ray, MRI, these things are based on the basic principles of physics, and they are used in medical science, and medical science is related with biology. So indirectly physics is also related with biology. Similarly physics is related with chemistry. In chemistry we are discussing about basic structure of atoms and crystal structures and so many things, and these crystal structures are investigated with the help of basic principles of physics. So directly or indirectly physics is related with all three, maths, science and bio, math, bio and chemistry as well. Okay. Now the next is 4 fundamental forces. Okay, 4 fundamental forces. 4 fundamental forces, which I have already told you about 4 fundamental forces, and the very first is gravitational force. Second is electromagnetic force. And third is weak nuclear force, and the last one is strong nuclear force. Here we have 4 main forces by which we can explain every phenomena which happens in our surrounding. So that's why you can say that it's very easy to deal. However, we have lots of branches in physics, but we can develop all the things, we can describe all the things, we can explain all the things with the help of only these 4 fundamental forces. So it's I just recall all the things and just complete my lecture, very first lecture of this. So in this lecture we are discussing about science, then we discussed about scientific methods, then scientific theory, then we come to third point, that is physics, and then we discussed about scope and excitement of physics. We have several branches, okay, and next we discussed about how physics is related with technology and society and other branches of science like maths, bio and chemistry, and then we come to 4 fundamental courses. In next lecture I will discuss all these courses. Thank you.